Hi, this is Han of TheHande and welcome back to another Finland Stuff video. Now, this Finland Stuff video doesn't have any one specific topic. Instead, I'll be just talking about three general topics related to Finland. And the first one I'm going to start with is one that just happens to be on my mind because I just recently moved. So this is kind of relevant to me. But did you know that some Finnish towns actually have second Swedish names? This is of course because Finland was historically a part of Sweden and is still to this day officially bilingual. The one place where you will definitely hear this, another topic that I was actually thinking about making a video of, is if you happen to be traveling by train in this country, because they always make the announcements in three languages, Finnish, Swedish, and English. And between the three announcements, you will always hear that some town names and place names are completely different in Swedish. Now, a lot of the Swedish place names are more or less the same. For instance, Helsinki is just Helsingfors. Tampere is just Tammerfors. Kajaani just has the I dropped off from the end of its name. Mikkeli is Saint Mikkel, which is obviously in reference to Saint Michael. However, then there are a couple of weirder ones, like the old capital Turku, which is Åbo, and my hometown of Oulu, which is Uleåborg. The town of Kokkola in Ostrobothnia is an interesting case. Its Swedish name is Nykarleby, and there is another town close by which is called Nykarleby. So you would assume that the Finnish name would just be Uusi Kokkola. No, but in fact the Finnish name is also Uusi Karleby, which is really, really interesting. Swedish is primarily spoken near the coastal areas. Of course, the entire island of Åland is officially Swedish speaking. Now, the city that most people associate with Swedish-speaking Finns on the mainland is Vasa, which, by the way, is the same in Finnish and Swedish. The Swedish name just has one less A in it. It's shockingly not even the most Swedish-intense part of the country. Now, yes, some of these bigger towns do have majority Swedish-speaking individuals. We're only talking about like 50 to 60%. And the really intensely Swedish-speaking parts are actually all those smaller municipalities surrounding them. The thing that you will notice in these parts of the country, however, is in the street signs, not just because on road signs, typically the Swedish name is placed underneath the Finnish one, except in Swedish majority places you might sometimes see it the other way around, and it's not just the names of the towns, but in fact the street names also have Swedish alternatives printed underneath them. Next topic is this salmiakki. Actually, I was supposed to have a packet of salmiakki as a prop for this video, but now I can't find it. Anyway, salmiakki is a salty candy that you can buy in this country. It's not very widely available in most other places, but it's definitely one of those candies that Finns always love to make foreigners try out for the first time whenever they're in this country. This is why I was originally going to talk about this topic in an aborted video about Finnish food myths, which was supposed to cover misunderstandings people have about Finnish foods, whether the misunderstandings came from Finns themselves or from foreigners. Now, when I say salmiakki is very rare, it's not just rare because it's not readily available in most other countries. It's also rare because Finns absolutely love this stuff and stick it in everything from ice cream to alcoholic drinks and even chocolate. And look, I like salmiakki and I love chocolate. I don't think salmiakki chocolate actually tastes any good. Now, the original premise on which I was going to include it in the Finland Food Myths video was this common misunderstanding that I constantly hear foreigners refer to salmiakki as salty licorice. And originally I just thought that this was just the foreigners not understanding what salmiakki is. I mean, the name salmiakki doesn't have an English equivalent, it is literally just that. And licorice is also another type of black candy, so I think that's where the confusion comes from. But as a Finn, to me, this is always very confusing because I know for a fact that salmiakki and licorice are two completely different things. Licorice, by the way, spelled like this in Finnish. Because, you know, licorice is sweet. Furthermore, licorice is an actual natural thing. It's a plant. Licorice root, of course, is used in very small amounts to make the candy we refer to as licorice. But the point is, it's a sweet candy, whereas salmiakki is very decidedly salty. And also, on top of that, salmiakki doesn't even grow anywhere. It is literally just a chemical concoction, which is why every chemistry teacher I've known loves to do it as a part of a demonstration during chemistry class. But I did come to realize that my assumption about salmiakki candies and their relationship to licorice was slightly off. Licorice and salmiakki are two different things, and in fact they sell explicitly salmiakki licorice mixture candies as well. But I came to discover that even the most low quality bargain bin salmiakki still has trace amounts of licorice in it. I'm not sure if they do that for the color or whether it just helps with the overall composition of the candy, because like I said, salmiakki isn't really a thing, it is just literally a chemical. And then one other thing that I need to point out is that because salmiakki is so intensely salty, it's not terribly good for you. Well, no candies are good for you. Apparently, in some individuals, salmiakki actually causes severe heightening of blood pressure. So that's just me warning you that you maybe want to go easy on those candies. And our final topic for this day, which is something that I have alluded to in past Finland Stuff videos, which is Finnish Tax Day. So I have mentioned before that all Finnish tax records are public knowledge. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, it means that the Finnish Tax Authority will in fact give out your tax information if you send a request for it. The reason tax records are public knowledge is because, well, pretty much everyone's income is public knowledge. Finland has a national income registry. And in Finland, the whole system of paying taxes has been pretty automated to such a degree that whenever we receive our tax forms each year, the most we ever do with them is basically throw them away, because the only reason you have to send your tax form in is if there's a mistake. So Finnish tax forms are actually refilled. The job of an individual taxpayer is just to check that the numbers are right. And unless you own like a house or a car or some liquid assets, you typically don't have to do anything with that form. So that is to say, the tax forms really are a formality. Haha. But this also leads to an interesting phenomenon. Every November, when tax records officially become public knowledge, the Finnish news media goes crazy writing news about all the different individuals who were the highest taxpayers in each municipality. Typically, these are all celebrities, of course, so that's the main thing people are interested in. Now, if this entire procedure seems a little weird to you, I do have to admit that you're not alone on this. A lot of Finns do as well. The positive takeaway that most people have for this entire exercise is that the fact that you are in the highest amount of taxpayers means that you have basically contributed the most into Finnish society, because as you know, Finland has relatively high cost for social services, so that way it's a good thing. There is, of course, the negative downside. If you're a person of fame or notoriety, but your name actually doesn't pop up in the top taxpayers in the country, that could be a sign that there's some trickery going on. Although not all-out tax fraud. In fact, because everything is so automated in Finland, performing tax fraud is almost pretty much impossible. Or if not impossible, the likelihood of you getting caught is pretty much 100%. Now, as far as I know, the average Joe taxpayers aren't horribly bothered by this practice. Unless you are one of those high earners, your name is just going to be one in a mass of other names that none of the news people are going to care about. But yes, of course, some of the high income earners do get a little bit worked up about this, and each year, there are increasing amounts of people sending special requests to the tax authority to not post their names. Although I've also noticed in recent years there's been a lot of pushback from the tax authority on this matter. So there you go, 3 more interesting Finnish facts. I hope you found this video interesting. I'm TheHande. See you on the next one.